I don't know much, but I know this much. Chelsea have picked up their third win on the bounce. Things are starting to turn around. Is this the start of a mini revival at Chelsea? Finally, after so much poor form, we win 3 games in the space of 7, 8 days. And Leeds, Dortmund, and now Leicester have all been slayed by Chelsea, and our massive squad and our plethora of new signings are starting to show their worth, and they're starting to come good for the manager, for Graham Potter, and more importantly, the fans who have gone through a bit of a torrid time. It's been very difficult supporting Chelsea in these past few weeks. I know, poor old us, spending £500 million on football players and not picking up any wins, not scoring any goals, but it has been truly dire. And I really feel like this win, this change, has been largely to the fact that we have reached such a low, we've hit such a rock bottom at the moment, with Chelsea being so poor, not scoring any goals, and it's just been really, really bad to watch. But one man I feel who is definitely, well, he's been involved in everything since Chelsea have started to win games, started to pick up points, and look so much better, and performances have been like chalk and cheese from what they were, is Benjamin bloody Chilwell. Once again, Ben Chilwell scores. He scores in 11 minutes, but this is like Chilwell's fourth goal involvement over the past, all the games that we've been winning, all the 3 games that we've won. Ben Chilwell was involved directly in each goal, and I'm not talking about goal involvements in the sense of like, oh yeah, he picked up the ball in one area, passed it, and then the goal came. This is direct assists. For Fana goal against Leeds, in swinging ball, Ben Chilwell assist. Against Dortmund, he wins the penalty. He sets up the other goal for Havertz. Sets up the other goal for Raheem Sterling. And then today, he scores within 11 minutes. If you break that down, that's literally all 4 goals Ben Chilwell has either assisted directly or scored. I mean, he is such a big miss when he's not in the team and he's not available. I mean, we talk about Reece James, of course, and the impact he has. I mean, Reece James, best right back in the world, no debate there. Ben Chilwell, if he can just stay fit over the span of 1 season, 2 seasons, like, I think he enters that race for best left back. I know there's Andy Robertson, who's class. I know CANCELO, also class, but some weird things happening around him at the moment. Ben Chilwell is absolutely affecting games at the moment like a world class top tier player, and he's really stood up to the challenge, considering how bad Chelsea have been. He's come back into that form, and he's absolutely like revitalised us and offering so much, way more than you would expect from a left back, from a left wing back. And he's got Cucurella next to him playing left-sided centre back. I have been so harsh on Cucurella since he's joined Chelsea, but since he's had Ben Chilwell next to him, he looks like a different player. He looks so much more efficient. He's not making so many silly passes, not making so many silly decisions. I still think there's a lot for him to improve, but Cucurella was also very good yesterday, and I feel like that's something that I haven't really been prepared to admit. Even against Dortmund, I wasn't that. He had a very good game, but I wasn't willing to quite admit that Cucurella had turned things around yet, and I'm starting to see better performances from him. But that game against Leicester, I think for sure, Cucurella now upward trajectory, and I think it's just got Ben Chilwell next to him. That is my theory, and I feel like Ben Chilwell is a big reason as to why we're playing so well at the moment. We've also got to talk about Enzo Fernandez. So much has been talked about his arrival, record transfer, hasn't quite, passed hasn't quite lived up to the spectacle perhaps surrounding that transfer yet. He is a player that is not necessarily going to score 2, 3 goals every week, but what he does, what he brings to that role, that central midfield role, is priceless. And if you think that it was Jorginho there and how laboured those passes were at times, I'm a big Jorginho fan, but sometimes he frustrated me so much. Enzo Fernandez, literally, as soon as he gets the ball, he's looking to make a forward pass. And the range of passing is just ridiculous. Outside of the boot, inside of the boot, diagonal ball across. There's so many passes that he can make, and he's so quick to make them. He always wants to make them. He doesn't really hesitate. He's just got so much to offer, and we are ticking far, far faster than we were before when Jorginho was in that role. I could just imagine the same passages of play where Enzo Fernandez picks the ball up. Jorginho would pick that ball up, maybe make the sideways pass, maybe make a dink over the top to a wing back, maybe just spray a ball forward, but it would always be so much slower. And you would always expect the opposition to sort of clock that it was coming and understand and have more time to readjust. With Enzo, it's like receives the ball, passes it into space, no one sees where it's going, and we're on the break. Like, I feel like that Kai Havertz goal, it just comes, everyone's shell shocked, no one sees it. Great communication between Havertz and Enzo. Havertz times his run perfectly, beautiful dink over, and that's all Enzo's quick thinking. Finally, we've got someone with some quick reactions and who's willing to get us up the pitch quicker, make a key pass, try something. They're not always going to work. It kind of reminds me of like what Bruno does at United. Bruno's always trying to arrange passes and they don't always work, but sometimes they get intercepted, sometimes they go out of bounds, but at the end of the day, things are ticking, things are happening faster, and we're going to create more chances and we're going to score. And look, we've scored 3 goals in a game. That's miraculous within itself. And I really feel that Enzo at the heart of the midfield, along with Kovacic, who I thought also was brilliant and scored a fantastic goal. He only scores wonders. I thought they were a great pairing. I'm not sure if that is the long-term pairing. I'm sure Enzo's going to feature in that. I just don't know if him and Kovacic are the right balance. But at the moment, it's working. We've picked up another win, and I'm chuffed. And I think Enzo Fernandez was absolutely fantastic. And you're just starting to sense that the whole mood at Chelsea is changing at the moment. The way that we're playing with a lot more confidence. We know that we're going to score goals. I mean, we've scored 2 goals on the brink of half-time, and that is massive. You go into half-time, you know, with the score level or without scoring, it changes the whole scope of when you come back out there. So the fact that we've scored 2 goals just before half-time is really telling, and I really feel has been key to our momentum so far. And I think that if we can just start to steady the nerves if we don't score before half-time, and, you know, keep playing the way we are playing, keep playing that fluid football, keep trying things, no matter what happens, no matter if we concede, then I think that's the next step for Chelsea at the moment. We need to just see what it's like to be in the deep end and how these players react. So that's the one part that I think hasn't quite been solved yet at Chelsea, and with these new players, I think that's something that we're going to have to learn, and we're going to have to, Graham Potter's going to have to iron that out, but it's all positives at the moment. Like, we've picked up another win. And we're playing well. We're playing like there's something to sing about. There's some entertainment. There's goals. You know, we weren't at our best. We opened the door up for Leicester many a times. They had opportunities to score on a few occasions. They hit the woodwork, as did we, as did João Felix. A few offside goals for us as well, Mudryk. But Leicester were also very much in the game and were very able to score goals. They fluffed their lines a few times. Dewsbury Hall, Patson Daka. There's a few guys that should have scored, but we had our luck. Lord knows we deserve a bit of fortune at the moment, and it wasn't the most efficient defensive display, but at least we countered that with some free-flowing football going forward, and I really like that front three. I really like the formation we're playing overall. This 3-4-3 at the moment, I think, is key. We seem so much more flexible, and I think this has got to be the turning point. I mean, we are far off European Champions League football, but it looks like if we can keep playing to this level, we will pick up the pace and we will at least be in contention for Europa. And we know financially how big that is to at least have some sort of European revenue coming in, considering all these signings. I think European football is probably, maybe I'm getting ahead of myself. Maybe, you know, we're not quite there yet and things could still take a torrid turn. But I do feel like we've seen the worst. And I think it will only be positive from here because now these players have got that feeling. They know what it's like to win. And I feel like they'll want to do that more and more. They'll know they've been unlucky in front of goal. But all the sort of toxicity around Chelsea, hopefully that sort of simmers down and these players can get back to being, you know, the brilliant footballers that they are, creating chances. And, you know, if it is 50-50 in every game we go to and it's just a case of putting that shift in, you know, running the hard yards, then I do believe that these players are willing to do that. But you know, which means we might not win every game, but at least we're going in there trying. The problem is we were just not even at the races for so many games recently. And now I feel like that, hopefully, that sort of bad trait has been ironed out and we can move forward and start winning games, or just more importantly, scoring goals and giving ourselves a chance to win games and get results. Finally, the scope around Chelsea has changed and it is far more positive. You know, I feel like I'm watching Chelsea now and it's not so doom and gloom. It's not like, oh, I know we're going to lose this game, or I know we're not going to score any goals. Yes, we're still getting unlucky. João Felix, Mudryk, you know, these guys are itching. They're almost trying too hard, but I think it is going to come off for them. But it just feels like since these players have adjusted in, and you know, we've got Fofana back. Wesley Fofana has been immense. Koulibaly has all of a sudden just turned into an absolute beast. Looks so much more solid than he did at the start of the season. It does feel like sort of and Chilwell coming back, these players that have returned, combined with some of the new signings, there seems to be a new bounce, a new energy. You know, you've got to think that players like Pulisic, Ziyech, Mount, you know, a lot of players have been omitted recently and have not really been playing games, and it's a strange one because I feel Pulisic and Ziyech are definitely on their way out. They're out the door, but Mason Mount to not be a part of this new little mini revival that we're having is very telling. But it's going to be interesting to see when Mount comes back into the fold. It's going to be interesting to see what we do, what we still need to do with so many other players. But what I do like is that Potter does seem to be trusting an 11 at the moment, and also the substitutions seem to be similar, and we are starting to sort of, you know, hone in on a group of players instead of trying to play everyone and trying to, you know, give everyone minutes. I feel like that is something that Potter has become a bit more ruthless about, and hopefully he continues to do that. We've got a massive squad. It's a bloated squad, and at the end of the day, I'd rather pick up the points and offload those players in the summer than try and keep everyone pleased and not understand who's a part of the future plans. Hopefully those conversations have happened already, and Potter can start focusing on a team and who is going to be a part of his future and are going to be a part of Chelsea's future, and we can start to really work with that team, work with that group of players, and start build on this philosophy that, you know, I do believe Graham Potter can implement, and he can, you know, really turn things around and achieve some success at Chelsea. How much, I'm not sure yet, but I think Graham has finally found his feet, and he's finding a bit more support from the Chelsea supporters after, you know, a really, really bad time. But I really think things are going to get turned around from here on. Guys, let me know what you think. Do you think this is the chance? Can we still reach some sort of European football? Is it out of question? Are we just getting ahead of ourselves? Am I getting ahead of myself? Let me know what you guys think. Like this video if you can. Leave a comment in the comment box. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And I'll see you in the next one. Come on, Chelsea.